these guys just know what they need to do. You know, being at PAX, being at MLG, talking to teams, they're like, who surprises you? Who's your favorite? I'm like, I don't really have a favorite, but people surprise me. And Complexity's been surprising me lately. And they're like, yeah, I wish a lot of us would play more aggressive junglers. And I'm just like, I don't, you know.
Did you see the beginning? Like,
yeah, no, yeah. So people are like, yeah, we want to see that, but they know where their roots are. They know where the wheelhouse is, and they can still gain power from it.
Yeah, it's definitely just a huge difference between the beginning, where he was just, it was painful to watch the vibes, and like Cop had that great clip where he just sidestepped the I felt so bad for him, and now he just looks so much better. He carried that game. They beat Dignitas when he was Cho'Gath. And it's just a lot more. Playing your comfort champion is definitely what you want to do. You don't want to fit into someone else's meta. Everyone in solo queue is always used to people raging at them if you pick something different. Everyone knows I love the unique picks, so I'm never going to be one of those.
Exactly. It looks like it's going to be a safe pick, actually, to really cut off the Amumu gang coming in here, or the Diana to come in. They have a lot of chances to stop that follow-up engagement that Complexity is going to look for. Yeah,
I mean, there's just so much AoE on Complexity here with the Amumu and Rumble combo. If they can get a Leandries on someone, there's so much CC that a lot of the other team is going to be CC'd, so that all that AoE is going to lay down and just burn the whole team, hopefully for them. But Echo, it's interesting that he's going back to his Anivia, because he said Froggen was the one that inspired him to play mid, and he was looking up to Froggen the whole time. And I asked him, you know, how do you compare yourself against Froggen? And he's like, yeah.
Here, the composition say all-out fight team for Marn as they come in with Udi or Nasus. They have that Anivia, which kind of, and coming in with Thresh on support, which kind of makes me say, you know, they can engage and disengage, because like you said, Complexity has that AoE team. They have the Amumu to just grab in and start the engagement whenever they
want. Both of these teams look like they both are down for team fights. They don't want to go with global pressure. They didn't pick Shen. Nobody has teleport here.
That's true.
They don't feel like split pushing. They just want to go head to head and fight it out. But I mean, because Marn has some pretty good AoE of their own. Anivia is always great against that. If you can use that wall and get a fight in the jungle, especially, jungle fights are amazing for Anivia. You can split off the whole team there. Then Varus can lock them up with the Varus ultimate. It's going to be interesting where they choose to have these team fights, because it could play out for Marn.
All right, we'll have to see. Now on to Summoner's Rift. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in for your fourth game of the day, Complexity versus Marn. As Complexity makes their way out of the base, we see stock of a red pot on Brunch U. So that elixir is going to be coming in. If they choose to focus the bottom lane, makes me think they may want to get the swap in for that 3v1 gank and that red pot buff. We'll have to see.
So people usually like switching it to a 2-versus-1 lane versus Mega Zero, because he's admitted that's one of his biggest weaknesses. So they actually do start with that red elixir on both sides. Last time Brenchu was the one on the receiving end of the Tiger Cheese, where he got almost 100%ed right at level 1, and he doesn't want that to happen again. It looks like Mega Zero's got the same plan, though, a red elixir of his own.
Just trying to see what both AD carries are running. We have Barrier and Cleanse. Barrier on Neon Tanso, side cleanse for Brunch, and it doesn't look like they're doing too much. The personal human line of scrimmage set up by each team, and that easy entry ward placed by the bottom of the Dragon area right now. So nobody going for aggression, but they are going to do the 2v1, as you said, against Mega Zero. He publicly put that out there. I don't like it. I like to 1v1. So we're going to see if he can hold off there. Obviously, he has been practicing that situation.
Yeah, I mean, they're all playing really defensively, acting as human wards, but not a lot of actual wards going down. I'm kind of surprised, especially after that Dignitas game where the level 1 really determined a lot of the rest of the game. They save their wards until the minions spawn, and then they dropped a full line. You can see they have vision all the way down the river here for Complexity.
It's actually something I've wondered, you know, why teams did before. Obviously, you can use yourself, and Curse did it a lot in the beginning, not placing those wards down and then placing it so you get, you know, the maximum amount of time for when that laning phase starts. It just makes more sense.
Yeah. It is. You have to be careful. You don't want to be too stingy with those, because if someone does sneak in early, it could be very bad here. Mega Zero helping out a lot with that blue buff. Tiger Stance definitely does a lot up front, so that's going to make that Nasus jungle a little bit quicker, which he definitely does need in the early stages.
Ping down in the bottom lane, so Mega's saying they're getting that 2v1 on me. We'll see how he does. He definitely has an ultra poke lane coming to him. Whether he takes the auto attacks from Caitlyn or not, he will be taking power chords, so he'll have to be in that turtle stance most of the time. And how does Rumble pretty much fare against that? Because he doesn't have to sustain that Udyr does.
Yeah, it's going to be dangerous. It's pretty much all about Heartbeat landing a hook. If Heartbeat lands a nice hook early on Rumble, then it could spell really good things for them. Right now, they have a good advantage because they're the same level, and they could actually burst him down. But Nick's playing very patient. I like this. He hasn't burned too much. And he has also placed this all-important defensive ward that will see Claky D come in for the gank.
MegaZero has gotten himself wolves. That'll help a few more CS to get him to 2, so he can be even with these guys in the bottom lane. He said already Claky D on that top side. Nick Wu putting the ward down. He has the double buff, and they're going to look for some damage here. Shouldn't finalize the kill if he's going to flash away in the end, but he will be able to pressure Kobe. Great move by Marn.
Brother-on-brother action. Claky D gets the better, just shoving Nick off of the creep wave. They timed that really well so that with the first creep wave, now Nick is still going to be level 1. He gets zoned out from this experience. And really what you have to do at this point is roam down to those wolves. If you're the top laner here and it's 3 versus 1, you can't go up to that turret. So you have to go get something for yourself. If you go into the jungle and just get a little bit from those wolves, that's really the best you can hope for.
And you can see Nick Wu from the beginning of this game said, I am going to get pressured super hard, went back, bought all the potions he could, and just laid down the money on the table. Bottom turret taken down as well as they trade back and forth. Gold completely even here at 4 minutes as it's going to just be more pushing. They didn't swap back, so they're going to keep going for the towers. It looks like they actually may go for Dragon here as well.
It looks like they want to trade the Dragon and try and defend this second turret. They're sending over Diana, which is a really good early wave clear with the Crescent Strike. And this is actually going to be a pretty good trade for them because Anivia's not shoving the middle lane right now. She's still just CSing, last hitting right there.
So Dragon going now to Complexity. Great job on that, and it's really dangerous for this much movement for Trooper to be moving like this at level 4. Everybody's still super squishy. You have a level 3 just hitting for Nick Wu. These guys are behind to the 4s to 3 that's standing in front of them right now. Trooper's forced back to mid here. Did he lose too much experience there? No, 30 to 22, so not too bad.
It seems like there's a little bit of miscommunication from Marn. Your whole team has to be in the mentality of shoving. If you're shoving one lane, but you're just last hitting in the other lane there, then you lose out on a lot of pressure. If Echo had tried to shove his lane too, they could have got some free pressure on that middle turret and lost us some CS there from Trooper to the tower. It's not a huge deal, but it is a tiny advantage. And in these,
this is what happened in the beginning of Super Week, right? And I don't think either of these teams were ones to participate in it. Martin was the one to switch the lane swap back on TSM and be the first one to stop the fast turrets. So these guys, I think, have almost played themselves into a situation they haven't really been in. They're kind of floundering around until they can find ground again. But the turrets are working for them. They've got 1,000 gold now in favor of Complexity because of that Dragon. So it looks like Complexity is kind of working out the miscommunication you're talking about.
Plus, we have seen a little improvement here from the 2 versus 1 laners. The solo lanes, neither of them died this time.
Yeah.
We were seeing pretty much 100% death rate in all the solo laners back in Super Week, and they played a little bit safer. Both of them getting their wards and getting out in time.
Claky D going down. Wow, to 200. Oh my gosh, he goes down all the way. Are you kidding me? Constant poking for first blood.
Very well played, and that is the poke that made this Sona Caitlyn lane so feared. It's like the next level of the Ezreal Sona lane that was used so often back when Ezreal was extremely popular.
That was crazy. No dot damage after. They were just pretty much getting the last hits in there. I think a minion even got his hand in on that kill. 6 minutes in is going to be our first blood. Complexity gets a little more gold on that as it was a kill assist. MegaZero now trying to recuperate in that top lane that just got a little bit harder for him.
Yeah, you don't expect Sona to do as much damage as the AD early on, but she really does with a well-placed power chord there. And that's another drawback of having Ghost instead of Flash. I mean, it's a lower cooldown. It's better for repeated ganks because you can gank and burn a flash and then gank again with Ghost while their flash isn't up. But you can't get out of those situations that you weren't expecting and just save yourself. Now, MIA takes a pretty good little proc there from Tiger Stance. Turret's going to go down anyway, though.
That's MegaZero just knowing he's not going to go down in this situation. They don't have enough crowd control to stop a new Udyr, so he's trying to just push them off, give them something else to think about. But they know on their side how much damage they can take as well, and they're just not buying it right now.
Yeah.
7 minutes in, pushing from mid as well. Trooper kind of throwing down some damage there onto Echo, and Echo's out of mana, so he's got to be careful here.
So MegaZero, he knows he's pretty tanky. He's maxing his turtle stance first. He only put 1 point in that tiger stance, so he's not going very aggro at all, just trying to sustain and be a tank up in that top lane, trying to farm up. Meanwhile, we have the Nasus with the level 1 Q. It's only at plus 48 right now, using that fairly sparingly. You don't get that really highly stacked up until about 20 or 30 minutes in. Loudamortis gets a chain.
Ooh, they do lock down on Loudy. That's going to be probably the death sentence, but Nick Wu comes in, picks up the phone and says, wait, he's innocent. But no, Niantanso wants it, goes in for the attack. Can he get onto the Lantern? And they save that one as Chuper was right on the edge of picking up that kill.
I like that move. Nick Wu trying to put his body over the Lantern, because a good counterplay to Lantern is actually putting your character right on top of it so that they can't click the Lantern. That's really the only drawback that there is. Sometimes if you have a really big, like a Cho'Gath or something, a fully fee-stacked Cho'Gath, you can't even see the Lantern, and they actually get in the way.
Chuper now to mid to get a little farm on as we take a look at that 25 to 37 in CS. So you can see those swapped top laners are having quite a bit of trouble as the ADs and supports have been putting a good amount of pressure on both of those lanes. The junglers sit just about even along with the mids at CS. Really everybody's kind of finding that equal factor here. The red pot still for Mega Zero, so he can still kind of throw out a burst in a team fight if they go 1v1 with him.
Yeah, Complexity are feeling a lot better about this one than their first matchup, because they have that tower advantage, and they also have the first blood. So they're sitting on a nice gold lead here, and Mega Zero going full on Chuper.
He does have that pot, still doesn't decide to hit it. Looks like Chuper with that blue buff easily going to be able to put out more damage, and Mega Zero knows that as he backs off.
Echo with blue buff here. This Anivia is great at wave clearing. He's past level 6, so it's fine. If you 2v1 me, I can just clear all day. He's going to be okay in that mid, even against the Caitlyn Sona, which is really just the most poke-heavy duo that we get.
And it actually is going to probably come down to that. When you said that, Anivia's ultimate going down, you think of what they were talking about last game with the siege clear of Nasus and that Spirit Fire. Spirit Fire on top of Anivia ultimate. Marn's never, or Complexity rather, is really never going to be able to get to these turrets late game, except for a few pokes. We'll have to see if Marn can really start to thwart that off. Right now, they don't seem to be controlling too much. They're trying to keep it in the laning phase here. Kobe, 10 minutes in, that one kill to Complexity. They're really not trying to make an advantage off of that. They're just getting Caitlyn fed now.
Yeah, I like the Spirit Fire combo with a Tiger Udyr too, because even though he's only got level 1 Tiger stance, the armor reduction from Spirit Fire, just at level 3 right now, is 30 armor. So you can get people almost down to their base. This early in the game, if people haven't built a lot of armor on an AD carry or something, you're almost going to do true damage with that Tiger, and that will just burn somebody down. They haven't really had that synergy. No ganks coming from a Claky and a Mega Zero combo, but Chuper wants a piece of Mega Zero.
There's Loudamortis in the bottom lane. He actually goes in. The ultimate from Varus comes out. Loudamortis taking a bit too much damage there. He throws down Curse of the Sad Mummy. He may go down first here. They should be able to turn this on to Nick Wu. Niantanso can just kite this one out. Attack after attack if he can get that ability out. Oh, Flamespitter just goes a little too far. Heartbeat trying to clean it up with the last attack, and he will be able to get the auto in. Up top shows Mega Zero and Chuper battling it out, but no kill there.
Yeah, they both back off. Lots of shields up in this top lane. Chuper didn't want to overcommit, and it was a good thing because Claky was heading up there for that Spirit Fire Tiger Stance combo I was just talking about. Heartbeat in the bottom lane now, free farming. He's got red buff. He's a happy support.
Doing a great job. Back and forth. Crescendo in mid, just missing onto Echo. So it looks like Complexity is going to have to play safe for a few seconds here. Chuper trying to come in and get some more harassment down. It looks like they may want this mid. Seeing Echo backing is going to allow them to engage. No! Chuper stops going in on Claky D, knowing it's a 3v1 still.
Claky actually didn't even pop his ultimate there. Wasn't too worried. He got that initial burst, and he was like, okay, I can take this. Niantanso going to back him up, though, and there's a lot more damage on him.
So as we peek around, looks like Dragon again ready for Complexity. They have the timer on that, and they're going to keep themselves a bit ahead of the game here by grabbing that for a second time in the game. About 11 minutes and 35 seconds there. We're going to see that going down. The kills are still even. Kobe, Complexity did find a way to get down a second turret. Now their focus has just been on mid.
Yeah, we've seen this time and time again from Loudamortis. He puts such a high priority on those dragons that they often get them when the other team is just sleeping. They've got, oh, there's a small opening in our ward coverage. Let's go get it. I'm Amumu. I don't care. I'm going to go start it up for you guys. Just get down here as soon as you can. Brunch, you're going to get out of that Anivia range pretty easily.
Oh, Chuper. Chuper getting a little too far out here. It is going to be that 3v1. If it's not stunned by Heartbeat, he's going to be hit up by Mega Zero. He gets a dash away and uses the ultimate too many ticks on that one. He will have the speed for now to get away. Now to Brunch you in mid. They're going to throw down the Wither. He cleanses that off, tries to get out of the ultimate. The wall goes down. He flashes over. Great mechanics by Brunch you, and he picks himself up a kill. Scumbag MIA taking it away as they finalize the kill on to Varus in that bottom, or rather onto Diana.
So Super was running for long enough that they actually picked up a kill of their own, and he's going in on Echo now.
Just absolute aggression everywhere. Echo trying to get himself that slow, and Echo could still go down. He's going to be egged. Can NickWoo get himself in between and off of that turret? The hammer, or the power chord's coming in, but they just don't have enough damage. Have they put themselves in a bad spot? No. Loud Mortis and Brunch you to thwart any re-engage from that midsection.
Rebirth. One of the best parts of playing Anivia. It just feels so good when you die under a turret and just come back full life.
So it looks like this turret may finally go down. A few more shots. A great death sentence there. Heartbeat feels like he can go in. They get a great stun from Echo down, but they don't have enough mana to follow up. Loud Mortis goes down to Mega Zero, and they make a great thing out of a quick stun.
I hope Loud Mortis has that turret reduction mastery point, because he's been taking a lot of them. And it hasn't been turning out too well. He's a little squishy. Needs to get his tankiness up. He's rushing that Aegis of the Legion. And in this patch, they took off a little bit of HP from the upgraded component, the Bulwark. The Aegis of the Legion is still pretty much the same. They just got the extra little buff to minions, which not too many people notice. But that Bulwark does have a little bit less HP in the end, so Amumu's going to have to build some more life from somewhere else.
Looks like we're going to get the blue buff going over to Echo here. That'll probably be a good idea for Anivia. We're looking at 14 minutes on this one. The gold lead still just being very slow, and it's about to mean not much as we get into this mid-game here. And that ratio of how much you are ahead just really starts to get smaller and smaller unless you have a 10,000 gold lead. And we're not going to see that. Both teams know exactly what's happening. They're adapting very quickly as well. We saw a lot of the swapping in the beginning, and now it's kind of back to that middle game that both of these teams know.
Seems like they planned out the early games,
right.
Both teams really well. And then it's kind of that North American curse where a lot of them don't think too far ahead, unlike the Koreans going like planning 30 minutes in where they know exactly what things they're going for. But I'm really looking at Mega Zero right now. I want to know if he's going to actually go for those boots of swiftness that he got last time, or if he needs to rush that tenacity, because the team Complexity has a lot of CC and a lot of AoE CC that he needs tenacity. Like, you have to have tenacity from somewhere. Are you going to get it from the boots, or are you going to go with boots of swiftness and grab it off something else?
Not running cleanse, so that could be bad. Trooper getting pulled in there, and it's actually going to be Harvey throwing himself in. Trooper goes down on the initiation there. They finally get the tower down. A great crescendo to disengage, but will they have enough to get back in? Wither was on cooldown. Looks like MRN enjoyed the fight. They're going to stick back.
They still have a blue buff up Anivia, but Clayky D, now without his ultimate, doesn't feel like he wants any more. Going to recall as well. Niantanso going to go purchase. Niantanso right now sitting on a BF sword, so he's probably going to pick that up. And once he, yeah, there we go, combos that with a red elixir as well.
For that little extra damage. They know it's getting tight. You see, most of the time, 90% of the time, when that turret goes down and there's 4 on the heels of it, you will get the engagement. For some odd reason, abilities don't go out or anything. It's just that time to push the other team back. And it might be the next time we see a fight for these two teams, because it's been very slow-paced. Dragons for Complexity. MRN, like you said, kind of sleeping on them, or maybe even just disregarding them. We've seen Team Solo Mid and Counter Logic have all had phases where they're like, it's not worth it to go for a dragon. Let's see what happens. But Complexity seems to be making good use of them here. 3,000 gold lead as they are down 5-4.
Yep, a good ward there by MRN. They put a pink ward down at Dragon, so they don't want to miss out on the next one, because they know for sure Loud Mortis is keeping track of that Dragon Trapper.
Looks like they are going to kind of hover towards this bottom side, only leaving Mega Zero to that top lane. He's going to farm it out. Bought that Phage really early to kind of thwart off any of the split push that NickWoo hasn't been doing yet. And that's kind of one thing that you hear is, how do you beat a split push? It's either you split push better and harass their split pusher, or dictate the game and throw everything down one lane. And really nobody's doing either yet.
Yeah, Complexity, they really want to fight when they have all of their AoE ultimates up. So as soon as they have that Sona Crescendo back, if they are able to combo it with the Amumu ultimate and land an ultimate from NickWoo on top of it as well and burn everyone. Ooh, Chuper flashes over for this.
Chuper's going to get some good damage down here. Niantanso tries to attack back. He will have a little bit of lifesteal on this, and he gets himself out. Chuper cannot finalize the kill as he did not hit the Q for his ultimate. The damage just wasn't there.
A pretty good trade, though. The Diana flash for the Niantanso flash is actually a good one. Varus doesn't have any innate escape of his own.
Right.
So without that, it's going to be a pretty big deal if they're able to land that AoE CC down on the Varus as well as the rest of the team, because if they take him out, that's a huge amount of damage gone from their team. Echo right now, not really a threat. He's built basically all mana. He's got mana and a little bit of magic resist. So he has not completed his big power items. He's still just looking for the wave clear and keeping his ultimate up.
Now, it actually looks like Udyr as well is building a little bit more damage than he is tank. Where are they going to get that tank from? Because Nasus is kind of there.
Yeah, Nasus is definitely going to be the focal point. They love baiting with that ultimate. And if you combo that with the shield from Locket, it actually catches a lot of people with surprise. We saw Reggie overextended there, Dove, and it looks like Loutimortis going in.
Loudy goes in. He does get a good one, pulled in by Heartbeat. He's got 3 in range right now. He locks them down. Niantanso's on the other side of the wall, waiting to be pulled in, and it looks like a crescendo across 4 of them. Who's going to be able to turn the damage down? Cartbeat and Claky D just finding themselves going down quite fast there. Complexity taking complete control of the fight, and Brunch U just about 100 health, or 100% HP, I should say, makes it out with a double kill.
I like how Nick got a Giant Belt, because a lot of rumbles, Echo actually going to be in trouble too. He wants to poke a little bit. He doesn't have any flash up, and Anivia is one of the slowest characters in the game, so this could be dangerous.
I don't think Niantanso needed to lantern himself into that fight. He was beautiful on the other side of the wall. Brunch harassing as they take down Dragon once again, this time in the eyes of Marn. So Marn's going to have the timer on that, but a 3rd Dragon in a row consecutively. That's what all of in a row and consecutively mean going to Complexity.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting there. Even though Loutimortis didn't get over to Niantanso to ult him, he flashed in to ult Echo instead. Niantanso was up on that ledge in the short range of Varus. He felt like he couldn't add to the fight, so then taking the Lantern in, he almost took the Lantern right into the crescendo. He was barely on the edge there, and it got the rest of the members, so it was a great fight there from Complexity, even though the Flash and Movement ult went after the AP carry instead of the AD carry. Worked out really well.
8-6 here. We're moving up to 20 minutes on this one. We'll just look at the mini-map. What's going down? Looks like top lane is going to meet at the river, so we're pretty much even on the push there. Mid as well, and actually all the lanes are resetting right now, so nobody's looking for too much aggression or too much pressure. Like we said, Echo coming in, Lakey D coming in on Nasus and Anivia. Huge siege clear if they even do want to take this into the late game, so they can push off Complexity as much as they want and really bring it to an objective fight later.
Plus, we have Amumu finishing that Bulwark, which he was rushing. It has a little bit less HP, like I was saying, so he's going to want to get that as soon as he can. He's also looking at some Merc Treads so he can have the tenacity. He doesn't want to get stunned for too long. He wants to at least be able to get your ult off. Some people will focus the Amumu. He's actually a fairly squishy target right now. If you can focus him down before he's able to get his ultimate off, maybe in a stun or something, that's a huge win for your team. That's actually happened to me before in some competitive games, and it's a strategy that's really viable until he builds something like his first Giant Belt or something, and he can actually survive through your stun, through your Anivia stun.
Shredding some magic resistance in there and help out Diana in the fight. So we'll see. We really haven't seen the initiation position for Marn yet, where they can wall off after that Amumu wall, where they can find the situation where, yeah, you've got us, but your team's not getting in. So we'll see if they can really bring that into fruition for this next fight. It's going to be all on Echo, and really the placement of if Niantanso can bait one in, because that's the only one that's going to get a flag toss. A bandage toss.
Yeah, with the Loutimortis flash being down too, fighting in the jungle would be really beneficial for Marn. Like I said, using that Anivia Crystallize inside the jungle would be huge. If you can get the Amumu walled off, you don't have to kill him before his ultimate comes up. You don't have to focus the tank at all, and you can focus the DPS dealers, which you're going to wall off probably. Trooper will be diving in there, and since he doesn't have a Zanya's Hourglass or anything, he'll just explode.
This is pretty interesting here. The Mega Zero hasn't been with the team. We haven't seen him in too many fights, except for when, there's a turret ready to be defended. And he doesn't really have any items that are going to come in the next few minutes. He has 986 gold that are going to be a huge impact of damage, and that's what these guys need right now. It's kind of I'm not going to say mediocre build, but he doesn't have a lot of tank and he doesn't have a lot of damage, so it's in the middle.
Yeah, I'm happy that he went with the early tenacity though. At least he got his Merc Treads, so he won't be locked down for as long by all this AoE CC. So the other option would have been going with that Zephyr and then combining that with the Boots of Speed.
Right.
I like the route that he went, though, because he is going to need a little bit more life to stay in there. He did max his Turtle Stance first, though, so he's looking to be that stun bot walk around, just lock up single members at a time. There's a Crystallize getting Brunch.
They try to grab him down. Good damage coming in from echo there. That was what they wanted. Really the first time we saw them try to outposition Complexity there. So MRN definitely adapting to these fights here at 22 minutes. Looks like they're going to have to wait for that to come up once again. They are being patient, though. And this next fight is really going to turn the tide of who's going to win the next few.
This is huge because there's an infinity edge on Niantanso right now. So that power spike just came in right when they needed it, and they actually feel confident. They're chasing him off the turret right now. You have to be careful. Yamumu ults up, the Rumble ults up, the Sona's ults up, so there's a whole bunch of ultimates that are ready to pop. Complexity wants to use everything at the same time.
It really offers the, we want to engage, we messed up, we'll disengage. We want to engage, we'll disengage. They have so many chances to go in and out, and we see MRN realizes that. They're just on their heels. Echo's right there in the beginning. Claky D's looking for a fast wither if anybody gets too close, and there it is, the Spirit Fire on top of Anivia, all superior wave clearing.
Yeah, and they're really looking for the late game outplays here. MRN, Echo went with the mana stacking build that we usually see on something like Rise. He went early tier, and then he went Rod of Ages after that, so his power is going to be scaling up really nicely into the late game. And as we've seen from the teams like formerly CLG EU, now EG, Anivia, one of the best at stalling out.
Absolutely. Could we look into that 50-minute game here? We'll have to see what the watches say for these players and the determination. 36,000 to 30,000. And that gold lead is starting to take a little bit of a hike in favor of Complexity here. It's starting to mean somebody's pretty fed on that team, and that fed is going to be going over to Brunchy right now. 8,900 gold to himself, 7,200 gold to Niantanso right now. So definitely the stronger AD carry there.
Yeah, talking about looking to late game, it looks like Claky might have switched his ideas as well. He's put an extra point into the Siphoning Strike before he maxed out his Wither, and his Siphoning Strike is already up to 156 extra physical damage on top of that base damage. So he's starting to look towards a little bit later and farming up his Qs now. It's only at level 2, but he's probably going to put the next points in that as well. And it's going to combo pretty well because they just finished the Trinity Force on Mega Zero, so that's that damage that he was looking for, coming from that Udyr, who's actually a split Udyr right now. So if he, and this is the patch where Sheen got reduced in damage, and the Trinity Force coming got reduced in damage as well, so it's a little cost effective. Sure, Freak is happy.
Oh, of course, of course. So we have actually pink wards coming out for a lot of people here. We got pink wards coming out for Mega Zero up top. He has bought 2, so that's quite a sinking gold actually for the top lane there. And we have one coming out for Thresh on Heartbeat as well, or Heartbeat on Thresh, if you will.
So there's also some key items here from Complexity to keep in mind. You guys want to keep your eyes on Chuper because he has finished his Zanya's Hourglass. He now has the survivability to go in and dive. It looks like Lattimores want to chase them right out of the dragon. They're ready to fight now.
Oh, beautiful. Equalizer ultimate goes across the team, keeping Niantanso on the other side. He's just burning in the ultimate right now. Claky D taking so much damage on the front end. Mega Zero tries to trade in as we see Thresh going down. It's going to be Claky as well. Lattimores falls as we're going to see Chuper follow. Mega Zero still just running around in that turtle form. Like you said, he's going to be a huge tank, and they are just chasing each other out of this fight. No dragon for anybody. Actually looks like Complexity will start to reapply that dragon damage, and Nick Wu could finish off Echo here. Echo just trying to fly away. He flashes out of that, and the Rylai's will not keep him in range.
I can't believe he flew out of that. That was just that was really nicely played. Nick Wu actually didn't want to face check the bush. Used both of his equalizers, missed them, and the bird does get away. But it was a really nicely played team fight. It looks like they're going to trade a middle turret now for this dragon pickup, which is not too shabby for MRN, even though they came out on the losing end of that team fight.
So money going in favor of both teams here is Nick Wu, also trying to deny some of that buff experience in the jungle and those resources. 41,000 to 34,000, 11 to 8. Mega Zero trying to come back to the fight, but he doesn't know they're still in his jungle. He did that knowing Heartbeat was on the outside.
So in the last team fight, also, I want to shout out Lattimores. He flashed right onto Niantanso. This time, he did focus AD carry.
Yeah.
He got a great ultimate. He got the Niantanso. He got a few other members in as well. And then he just stayed over there trying to keep the AD's attention. He did the tank job. That's why he placed the tank. And he had popped a red elixir to make up for that extra health that I was talking about missing. And he survived long enough that his team was able to take down more members than the opposing.
Trying to push out the bottom. We'll see what he could be going back for. He's got 780 gold in his pocket, so he's probably just looking to go. Actually picks up the Fiendish Codex. Kindle Gem on to Udyr. So it looks like he may even try to pull out a locket for himself, and they'll just keep those fight shields going. That's what this team is working with right now. You got the Thresh shield, you have that Udyr shield, and 2 lockets to come out. So the bulwark still needing to be finished for Claky D. A lot of magic damage coming from Complexity.
Look at the vision wards also coming out from Marn. It looks like they saw the tweet there from Crumbs. They're like, oh my god, this is the best item. I'm going to go for a bunch of these vision wards here. 3 members picking those up, and they want to clear out the advantage that Complexity have carved. I mean, the gold lead is pretty substantial now, and so now what the next step for Complexity is to take over the map with that extra gold. And the way to do that, placing a lot of wards.
5-0-5 Brunch U still trying to play very safe in these fights. Has that last whisper already, and he's kind of chunking through the armor that's not on Team Marn yet. You have the bulwark out, a little bit of armor going on to Udyr as well, but he is going to be a huge factor in these fights. So really eyes on Brunch U, Niantanso once again. As we come up to the next fight, these guys are going to make a difference. See everybody else just kind of running around Kobe, being a nuisance, trying to stun, trying to do whatever they can with their skills, but really that damage is from the AD carries right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we do have, there we go, the completed Last Whisper with that Bloodthirster is pretty good, but he went with the Giant Spell instead of adding some extra crit on there. Well, Niantanso, he's just going full damage. He wants to get his Infinity Edge, and he wants to combine that with some extra crit, make it really cost effective, and just use his positioning as his defense.
We can see Marn again playing that ward game. They're almost fighting with wards right now, trying to put them over the walls and make sure the initiation is in their favor, even though it looks right now like they're on the back heel. They are going to throw down that ultimate from Anivia if need be, that Spirit Fire as well. And we'll see Complexity kind of just beating a dead horse here. These pushes could go on forever.
Nickwu has also completed that combo that's so popular, the Liandry's plus the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, which means that he's going to get the full effect out of that Liandry's on anyone that he can touch, because all of his spells are going to be slowing. So that's really an essential item for an AoE comp like this, where they need to stack all their CCs up and then burn everyone down really at the same time. And they're looking for Chuper to be the one diving in there and finishing off the priority targets, and just using that Zhonya's Hourglass to save him when he gets too deep.
So when you know you're not really gaining any ground, you're only getting a few pokes on here, and you could be losing the engagement, do you risk an objective, or where do you find the fight at this point?
Complexity doesn't have to risk anything right now because they are ahead, and they do love getting dragons. So if they ward up the enemy's jungle, they can keep vision of them, keep tabs on them the entire time, and just outplay them on the map, strangle their gold, their income, and continue taking all of the smaller objectives until they feel confident that they can actually go in and die.
Well, one ward just going down equals 5, but it looks like we're going to have Chuper replace that one as he goes up towards the Baron, whether he's going to farm or place the ward. But still, 5 wards sit in that jungle on the side of Marn, so they are completely known in everything they do, whether it's a blue buff, whether it's a simple split of one person, and that's dangerous at this time in the game. Small mistakes surmount to big mistakes, and really that final mistake that can't be made. 30 minutes in now, 47,000 to 39,000. No closing that gold gap here for Marn. This is where Marn usually starts to shine. They like being on the back foot. They usually perform very well, and they figure out where to get in these fights. And this is what we've been saying they've wanted. You know, you get Nasus to that spot. Mega Zero can get tanky as well as get that damage out. The double locket to come in the fight. They finish their bulwark now, and I think they're almost ready to get in.
Yeah, Nasus is feeling pretty good. He's got a Siphoning Strike up to level 3, and it's at plus 195 physical damage, so he's almost past that 200 mark. And as the game goes on, it's really easy for him to farm it now, since when you level up your Siphoning Strike, the cooldown goes down. Sona gonna get caught.
MIA getting caught out there. He did have to flash. Mega Zero was easily able to catch, also expending the exhaust from MIA. There's the hit down. MIA, he wastes a crescendo as well, which should be up for a next fight, but it could be needed for Baron now.
There's the late game outplay, as I was talking about Marn looking for. It just happened that it was Mega Zero this time. That Tiger Udyr will catch you off guard even before the change. He has plenty of speed.
Why would you take that Echo? He is going to be quite all right as he's chugging down some potions here. He should be okay after this. The team will be able to survive on this. Niantanso very low on mana, so we're going to have to be quite careful what's happening. Chuper gets grabbed out. There's the death sentence down. The Zhonya is quite early for him. Will he be able to get in and do enough damage? Echo taking quite a bit himself. They try to focus down. Niantanso flashes onto Chuper, making sure they shut down the crowd control. Loudamort trying to walk himself into the fight, able to now take down Niantanso. Back onto Echo as he's going to go down finally. Claky D is doing what he can as fastest, but it's not going to be enough in the 2v1. Double kill for Nick Wu. Up to the Wraiths as Harvey is trying to run. Laudamoris just wants a hug. He gets the hug, but he's thrown back away from Heartbeat, and that is not a happy moment for either of them.
Bold play right there. There's no one behind him followed up with any damage, but Complexity win that team fight with the engage coming out from Marn after Marn had already picked off Sona. Really, that spells bad news for Marn right here if they can't still win one of those.
Especially Trooper being the initiated on. He had to pop Zonia so early. Complexity enjoying another dragon to themselves this game. And the gold lead, like I said before, it means something when it says 10,000. We're at 11,000 now, 14 to 10. Here comes Mega Zero. Once again, he really is Udyr. You can be in this point. You can kind of throw harass around everywhere, but the team has to be able to follow up.
It just shows the power of the AoE comp that Complexity have. Even if they're missing one component, they still have Amumu's ultimate and Rumble's ultimate combo. That with a Liandry's will burn you down. That's percentage of your max health anyway, so it's going to get everyone. And it really got Niantanso and Echo to feel a little overconfident since they had gotten a kill, and they put bad positioning, and they were relying on their positioning as their defense, so they paid for it.
You know what's not working, as I said, would be really cool for Echo to do, is throw down that wall to separate a fight. Have we seen a wall in these fights? Because if it happened in that one, it would have been placed in the bush, separating his team, other people. There was real no placement for it. They're jumping on him too fast and really shutting down the fact that they have that, you know, keep somebody away AoE.
Yeah, I also like that there's another threat here from Martin, though. Mega Zero picking up an Oracles of his own. He's going to be clearing out all those wards, and he got his main two items for his build. He was talking about you need a little bit of cooldown reduction for this.
A little bit of both.
So that you can proc up your Tiger stance and then move over to a Bear and get the speed boost and double proc your Tiger, basically, by using the first proc and then switching over to again. It's a huge amount of burst damage combined with a Trinity Force proc. People don't expect that from the usually very tanky champion that most people build Udyr as. Udyr. We'll have to see if he can really put up the damage here as he comes into this next fight. He is going to try to go on Nick Wu. They finally get that wall down that they want. They separate one member, but how much are they going to waste on Nick Wu here? Enough to take him down. Laudamoris jumping into the fight. Curse with a sad mummy. A crescendo to lapse over them perfectly, but the positioning was all in favor of Marn this time. Laudamoris trying to continue the damage here. Trooper coming in from the side. He may be able to clean up now. Marn just stood too much in one spot. They had that back in their favor and then threw it back to Complexity at the end of the fight. Oh, man, that team comp. Trooper was not there for the whole, 30, 40 seconds almost of the beginning of that team fight. And when he finally got there, easy cleanup for him. Picks up the rest of the 2 kills. Complexity just beasting it with this. It looks like they're going to go for that inhibitor turret. And they might even want to, no, because the home guard boots will be a little bit dangerous to also go for an inhibitor. We'll see what choice they make here. They are chunking it down pretty quickly.
Let's see. Once Trooper gets on it, Trooper's going to have some good damage coming out in that third attack. They could be able to go for this. 2 seconds on Thresh. They got 6 seconds on really anybody they have to worry about. So
no
this
home guard
will be theirs. No home guard yet. Aranduin starting to come out on Laudamoris as this fight could actually have completed that for him. As they start to head back to base, we're going to see some big buys here as Complexity just won a pretty good fight for themselves.
So they still have to be careful. This is where solo queue teams will often be like, okay, we just won a huge fight, we got a free inhibitor, now we're good, and they go off start farming random places. You have to be careful of the Baron. The Baron counter is actually a really big play. If Marn had rushed that right now, while a lot of members of Complexity were spread out and returning to base, then they could force something and try and even it up very quickly. It looks like they won't be able to do that, though. Complexity not making that mistake, nobody going bottom.
You know, I was trying to figure out where a quick burst of damage had come from in that last fight, because I was like, Laudamoris is just slamming his head off people, ignoring magic resistance, but they're not taking that yet. MIA has actually bought a full Athenes here coming out, so he's definitely adding damage to the fight for his team.
I love that as a support item, because not only is it it's a little bit extra damage for Sona, you can just spam all your auras. That's how you're supposed to play Sona.
Apply keyboard to face.
Yes, there you go.
Continue. So 19 to 12, I should say. 36 minutes in here, 61,000 to 47,000. We'll say 48,000 gold Kobe. 6 to 3 in turrets. And this is really where, as a team, Complexity, the position they're in, they should start to be dictating the game, yes?
Yeah, it's really a dire situation for Marm right now, because Complexity have showed they're able to win team fights even if they're engaged upon in a 4-on-5 situation. They have their AoE comp is very strong against this, and Oh, it looks like they are going to go for the answer for the Baron. This is a little bit of a desperate Baron, but they saw Chuper bottom, so it's another 4-on-5.
Oh, they have
Can
so
they win
much.
This 4-on-5?
The equalizer to the lock in the curse of the Sad Mummy. If they try to get out, Lotta Mortis can just keep them in there. They're taking Baron damage right now. They have to get out. Equalizer's gone. That beautiful curse of the Sad Mummy locks everyone up. Do they have the damage to follow? Mega Zero pushed off the bottom. Clanky D running with the team. You can see the Andries burning them down. They try to get back into the fight. Nian Tanso, good guy, blocking that shot. And Chuper is going to be stunned off to the side there as they disengage this one. But no re-engage the Q going on. Killing down Nian Tanso. They finish off another double kill coming in for Chuper as he starts to make the plays. A harpoon just right through all the minions, threading the needle. Echo trying to one more electric harpoon, and he is going to be done for. Turns around, throws down the Sonias. They just have all the plays right now. Can they clean up the last two? Echo done. Mega Zero close to dead, and he bears out of the fight.
Wow, really nice chase there from Complexity. Both Nick and Chuper played that essentially well, or extremely well. The Zanya's coming in there from Nick at the last second to block out the Anivia Q. Just, they really deserve this inhibitor turret.
Absolutely love when that happens, when you think the player has just gone complete tunnel vision and they're like, nope, I was playing tricks. Zonya's out. They get so much off of this fight, and like you said, you just don't need to take chances right now. That Baron chance equals this right now for Marn, and Complexity's in their base.
Yeah, that was a little much. I mean, it was a good opportunity because they saw Chuper bottom, but they've already lost several 4-on-5 fights.
Yeah.
And they haven't been able to disengage very well. It was a really nice job by Chuper following that one up. And a good, actually, Echo cued him over the wall there. They didn't have vision on it, but it landed perfectly.
That was great.
They had a little vision of him running over towards that area, but it looks like it'll be a free Baron here for Complexity.
So now Complexity definitely sitting in the driver's seat. 18,000 gold in the lead of Marn right now. The Deathfire grasp picked up on Chuper. He is in complete assassination mode right now. The Führer boots coming out for Brunch U as he wants to keep himself in the fight at 7, 1, and 11 this game. And you can see actually just the Giants belts being picked up now by Complexity. They picked up 2. Chuper grabbed 1. We just had MIA grab 1. They're ready to be in the fight for the long haul.
And really, the main tank there, Clanky D here for Marn, because Mega Zero, he's building for offensive. You can see he's going for a Blade of the Ruined King right there. He's looking to kill people. He's not looking to take damage. Really, the sole tank right there, Clanky, actually they're able to burn him down really quickly. Look at this Caitlyn with the combo here. Not only the Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer combo, but also, bam, I've got plenty of life still with my Bloodthirster, and I've got the armor penetration, so he can pretty much melt whatever he wants from the back line. It looks like they're going to go back over here and just shove the bottom. They've got 2 inhibitors down already. They can take their time, even if they felt like it, grab Dragon for extra gold.
Really props to this game so far here, 40 minutes in. Lotta Mortis and Nick Wu just really, and you'd say Chuper, setting everything up for Brunch to just stay on the outside and pick up these kills. Everybody actually has got a good spread of kills across the board. Even we have MIA 2, 1, and 17 right now. Looks like they're trying to thwart off this last turret, and that turret is prepped for whatever they want. If they want to go around, just take it out and continue to turn this base into shambles. They can do so, Kobe. 40 minutes in, it could be Complexity's final push here.
Yeah, Baron buffed up. They've got all their AoE ultimates. Caitlyn's ready with red buff. She does get caught, though.
Brunchu is in the lock in there. He does use Cleanse and Flash to get out. We're watching Curse of the Sad Mummy on a Nian Tanso. They drop the 80 carry. They drop Mega Zero. Clanky D is going to follow, and he's the tankiest. That spells bad news bears for Marn, and the Nexus is going to be open after the turrets. Complexity dominating throughout the game. 20,000 gold lead to end it off, and the Nexus is in their sights.
Yeah, bad news for Bear Uder. He wasn't able to get, even with a